And welcome back to Ozarks Live. We're going to be speaking to our sports reporter, Dan Linblad, so that we can get it kind of caught up on what's making headlines today in the wonderful, wild, wild world of sports.
Wild, wild world of sports. So,
Yeah.
Dan, what's going on lately? What's in the headlines?
Oh, wild is certainly a way to describe it. Everybody, with this playing sports and this pandemic, it's all just been about trying to get through to the next day. We had a big news here locally, actually. Drury women's Lady Panthers basketball, they are won 40 straight games on yesterday, I believe, one of these days this week. They are now in a COVID quarantine, 3 games being postponed. Mizzou Tigers also in a quarantine. That's the men's basketball team. And then the Lady Bears also in a COVID quarantine. So a lot of these, they're trying to get these games played. All these 3 teams are nationally ranked, and now they're all in quarantine.
Now, the MSU ladies, the Mizzou ladies had already been under quarantine at one time, weren't they?
Yeah, they had, I believe it was earlier this year. I can't remember the time frame exactly, but also the Missouri State men had been in a COVID quarantine. So it's hitting everybody at different times, and that's kind of what we thought going into the season.
Yeah,
When we talk about messing up the schedule, though,
no doubt.
Yeah, it just compounds on itself. It's a mess. So what else is going on?
Yeah, well, it's also a really sad day in terms of Major League Baseball. Tommy Lasorda passed away late last night. News coming out early this morning, the Dodgers announcing he's been a part of baseball, and he's one of those, he's a figure that's larger than life when you're talking about the sport of baseball. And Tom, you and I were talking earlier, half a century being involved in the game of baseball. I mean, if you do the same thing for half a century, you are going to earn that legend status, and Tommy's certainly one of those figures.
True. Now, shifting gears a little bit, when Joy asked me earlier, what am I going to be doing this weekend? You talk about football. This is a big weekend for football, and especially the NFL.
Oh, huge weekend. And it's the first weekend of the playoffs is always big, but this is even bigger this time around. Back late March of 2020, you might have been missed in the news of the pandemic and whatnot, but they extended the playoffs to have 14 teams in it. So only one team gets to bye, that being the Chiefs. The Chiefs will hang back, sit tight, watch some of the games this weekend, and then play the lowest seed coming out of the AFC. But there are 3 games from the NFC and 3 games from the AFC all this weekend to start the playoffs. Those will begin on Saturday.
Are Chiefs still favored to take it all?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely out of the AFC. The Bills have kind of closed that gap a little bit, but a lot of people are thinking it's going to be the Chiefs and then probably either the Packers or the Saints coming out of the NFC.
I was going to say Packers. Yeah.
And then also there's another storyline with Tampa Bay. Tampa is hosting the Super Bowl. Could they be the first team to play in the Super Bowl on their home field? So there's plenty to talk about in the playoffs this year.
Interesting. All right, what about college?
Yeah, so college football, the head of the CFP announced today that they are intending on going ahead with the college football championship on Monday, that being Ohio State and Alabama. Alabama's been the top team all year long, but don't forget the first year of the college football playoff, Alabama played Ohio State. Alabama was a 7-point favorite. Ohio State won.
Yeah.
So same thing this time. Alabama's an 8-point favorite. We'll see if Ohio State wins that championship. And if they do, they will be the fewest amount of wins by a champion since 1945.
Ooh.
Wow, and that's Monday, right?
That is Monday night,
Okay.
yes.
Hope they're all healthy.
Fingers crossed. They still got to get to Miami, but so far everything's on track.
And anything could happen. All right, Dan Linblad, thank you so much. Good to see you.
Thank y'all. Good to see you too.
All right, coming up, we have a new artist to showcase. He goes by 218, and let's just say you don't want to miss this performance.
No, you don't. So don't go anywhere. Ozarks Live isn't finished yet.